Hello and welcome to the Dits on Wrestling podcast, the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod and part of Project Dits. We're doing some more GM mode, the final weekly GM mode episodes, in fact. We're finally there. And today is Anthony's Monday Night Raw.
It is the go-home show of Monday Night Raw. It went by so fast and took like a lot of work, and I'm extremely conflicted because part of me, a large part of me is sad to see this series come to an end because I've really enjoyed the hell out of it. I think the first time we both sat down and started doing this for episode 1, it was really fun and exciting. As we've gone through, it's been fun and exciting, but I think as we both kind of test to, it's also like a lot of work, but in a fun way, but also like it's stressful and hard. So part of me is like, a large part of me, the larger part is like sad to see the series come to an end, but there is definitely a part of me that is like, oh, thank God.
Go back to absolutely winning every episode.
Yeah, let's go back to our loose structure, weekly type thing. Yeah, because there's just, and again, for everybody out there, not like we don't prepare for our regular episodes, but again, it is more of like a loose structure. We know like what segments we want to hit, and then we fill it with our knowledge and style, and you know, we go from there. But with this, there is none of that. Like I have 5 to 7 notebook pages every week, and they're all filled with dialogue and scripts and match results and how that leads to something else. And yeah, it's like doing a paper like every week, which isn't bad at all. But yeah, it definitely requires a lot of output. And so there's that part of me that's like, oh man, don't have to do that anymore. Instead, like, oh, what are we talking about this week? Oh, okay, we're talking about the G1. All right, cool. And then I went make notes on the G1 and go from there, and I have my points. It's different doing that versus having an essay's worth of words inside a notebook or in your phone, as you do.
Yeah, and I've got the added joy of editing and all the stuff afterwards. I don't know if people have realized at this point, but the YouTube videos are now literally just a SmackDown or Raw graphic. No match stuff comes up. It is literally just, there you go, because it takes so long to put it together, and I was like, oh, I don't have the time in the week anymore to be doing it, so let's just put it up on YouTube as is and just hope for the best. And actually, on that note of having feck all time, once this series concludes, which is, of course, at SummerSlam or just before SummerSlam, the following day on the usual release day for the Dow Pod, I'm going to release the audio version of the video that will go out on YouTube the prior night, and then we're going to take a 2-week break. I feel that we need it, and I also am dealing with extra strain at work, so I kind of just want to adjust to that before I get back to normality with, you know, stuff that I actually enjoy.
Real life, folks. Real
life. But that's next week or the week after. Like we have the focus now of the go home shows for you today.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Go home show. I was I knew where everything was going to go, and we spoke earlier in the day today about how our results were going for writing, which was, standard fare, you being like, this is terrible, I hate it, and then I'm like, everything's fine, and then I'm like, oh god, I'm in the same thing. And speaking offline, my thoughts for this were, I knew what I wanted to happen, and I knew I basically just like 90% of the puzzle was already completed. I just needed to kind of push things over the edge to make everything be where I wanted it to be and put a nice little neat bow on everything as we go to SummerSlam, because there's been so much that has happened on the show over the last several weeks, especially with how intense the Io Shirai Becky Lynch fight was last week. And so this one I was like, let me just put a little bow on everything, finalize some stuff, get it ready for SummerSlam. And then I started thinking to myself, like, how would this show like be perceived if like if it was just with a neat little bow on it? And I was thinking I could picture like people on Reddit or social media, just being like, that's the go home show, like, it's so fucking boring, like, nothing happened, like, I know, like, Io Shirai, like, popped her own shoulder back into place, like, last week and beat Becky Lynch, but, like, what the hell, like, this is boring, like, and so I started thinking of that, and then I was like, damn, do I want to, like, change some things up? And so I tweaked some things just to make things a little more climactic, but for the most part, I put a bow on it because a lot has happened over the last several weeks, and I just wanted to get everything onto the path to push towards SummerSlam because there is a lot that will be transpiring at SummerSlam.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this all comes to an end, because I've enjoyed how you've been building things up so far. So, I put a lot of importance in the Go Home show. If you're going to sell a pay-per-view, that's the time to do it at the last hurdle. So I'm curious to see what you're going to bring to the table tonight. And usually I would say, here's a recap. Let us know what's been going on. But we're not going to do that. We haven't done it for weeks now. Go back and check out the previous episode that you did. Or, rather handily, we have a Dowpod Observer on Project Dits as well that reviews our shows and kind of does a little recap. So go and check those out. Either check out the full show for more in-depth stuff, or go and check out the Dowpod Observer for Monday Night Raw last week.
Which was a 4-star show, by the way. I've been rocking consistent week in, week out 4-star shows. I just wanted to throw that out there, just, because.
Dick. I got 3 3/4 this week.
Well, that's good. I mean, again,
I got excited because right at the very start, it was just like, this show was a banger. And I was like, you know what? It was. And then he went 3 3/4 stars. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's such a letdown.
But trust me, Friday's show is going to be a 2-star classic.
Ooh, are you not sports entertained?
You're not sports entertained. But let's see if yours is going to be a 2-star classic, shall we? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I am.
Let's delve in. The spotlight is now on you. I get to sit back and do nothing for half an hour. It's great.
Love the spotlight. Just kidding. I hate it. So we open up with somewhat as we do on Raw. Well, we open up with the main Raw graphic and theme song, and we get that. Then we open with a bit of a video recap of last week, but mainly just confirming the SummerSlam matches that were made/confirmed last week on Raw. So we've got the Street Profits versus Andrade and Garza versus Imperium in a triple threat tag team title ladder match at SummerSlam. We've now got AJ Styles versus Finn Balor versus Mustafa Ali in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. We now have Asuka versus Io Shirai for the Raw Women's title. We have Samoa Joe, Aleister Black, and Ricochet versus Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Buddy Murphy inside Hell in a Cell. I'm super excited for that match, as an aside, I'm excited for that match as if it's actually going to happen, and then I'm like, oh wait, I don't actually get to see it.
If I do say so myself.
I just write it. I'm like, it's not actually happening. And then main event, Walter versus Cesaro for the Universal title. All of those matches confirmed as of last week. Graphic comes up. So the announce team's talking about that. But then we go backstage because, the announce team gets we got some word of some stuff going on backstage. So we go backstage and we see Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Buddy Murphy. They have pulled into the arena and they're in an argument with a lot of security. So cameras going out there so we can see what's going on. And Long story short, Seth and Roman and Buddy, they're not allowed on the premises tonight. Due to everything that's just gone on the last several weeks, there's been a lot of chaos between them and Joe, Aleister Black, and Ricochet. Rollins, Reigns, and Murphy are not allowed on the premises tonight. Security's explaining that to them. They're arguing with security, a little bit back and forth, but there's a lot of security. There's like 12, 13 security guards there. As they're arguing, we hear a voice come from off camera saying, "Hey guys, don't feel special. We're not allowed in either." And the camera pans back a little and turns to the side, and it's Samoa Joe, Aleister Black, and Ricochet also being escorted by security out of the arena. And as Joe said, like, "Hey, don't feel special. We're not allowed in either." Buddy Murphy, continuing on his theme from last week, tells Joe that, well, the reason he's probably not allowed in is because he's too fat to be in the arena.
Oh, wow.
This makes Samoa Joe does not like that. This makes Joe less than thrilled, so he rushes through security to get to Buddy Murphy. This starts a good old-fashioned Donnybrook / brouhaha / ruckus, and all six men begin fighting with each other and security. It's madness. It's chaos. Ricochet hits a shooting star press off of a truck onto Roman Reigns and security. Seth curb stomps one of the security guards on the parking lot floor. Aleister Black is throwing out black masses to security guards left and right. It's chaos. People are getting knocked out. People are down. More security guards come in. Eventually, the police show up as added support in order to calm things down. And we see each of the six men handcuffed and put into their own individual squad cars. And they are taken off to the local station to be calmed down, to be sorted out. They will not be in the arena for the rest of the night. Cooler heads will hopefully prevail, but that's how the show starts. A lot of chaos. A lot of chaos. Well, yeah, a little bit. Again, they hate each other, which is why this match is going to be inside Hell in a Cell. We go back to the announce team, and the announce team is there talking about why they weren't allowed in the arena tonight. I hope you can hear those pages turning because, again, I write on a notebook with a pen, old-fashioned. That is me. So the announce team talking about the war that has just happened between these six men over the last 5 weeks, starting with, Reigns and Murphy and Rollins jumping Aleister Black and Ricochet jumping Samoa Joe, and just the weekly back and forth, how Rollins and Reigns had their tag team title opportunity. It was cost at the hands of Samoa Joe, Aleister Black, and Ricochet, and it's just been a week in, week out fight. And what can we expect to see come Hell in a Cell when all six of these guys will be able to go at it inside a terrible, intimidating structure? It's going to be a war. It's going to be a fight. And so they're basically talking about how intense that's going to be. AJ Styles, music hits. He comes to the ring. He doesn't stop at the entrance ramp to do his little, like, put my head up, fingers out, I'm phenomenal type thing. He's coming right to the ring because he's pissed off. He has a mic with him. AJ gets on the mic, and the first thing that he says is, "This show is a joke. I get brutally attacked last week for absolutely no reason, and my title gets stolen." Of course, AJ is referring to the match that he had with Mustafa Ali, where Ali pretty much had that match won. Finn Balor pulled the referee out of the ring as Ali was about to get the 3 count on AJ. Ali attacked Finn, and then as AJ came to, he was hit with the Kinshasa by Shinsuke Nakamura, knocked out, and Shinsuke Nakamura took the IC title. Again, check out last week's episode, but that's a little recap for those of you who didn't know. So AJ, again, this show is a joke. I get brutally attacked last week for absolutely no reason, and my title gets stolen. Then I speak to the Raw general manager.
Oh.
Yep. He spoke to me last week, not on camera because that's not my style.
Dick.
But to each his own. Then I speak to the Raw GM, and he tells me, quote, "I have to clean up my own mess," end quote. This is no way for a top star to be treated. Not to mention last week I had Mustafa Ali beat, and I know some people say that he would have won if Finn didn't pull the ref out of the ring. But that's false. I was definitely going to kick out. I had Mustafa Ali right where I wanted him. I want my title. This is a joke. I'm being treated unfairly. He's just going off on little things like that. And then Shinsuke Nakamura's music hits. Again, old school Shinsuke Nakamura music. The original NXT Shinsuke Nakamura music, not the version that's out now. I don't like that. That sucks. Now, Nakamura's music hits. He's on the entrance ramp, but he doesn't have the Intercontinental title. AJ sees him and immediately starts yelling, "Where's my belt? Give it back, you loser." Calling him a whole bunch of things, telling him he wants his belt back. Nakamura tells him to calm down, tells him that the Intercontinental title is safe, but it's not in the building tonight. And that if AJ wants it, he can most definitely have it. He just has to beat him for it. AJ scoffs at that and says, "I'm not going to fight you for a belt that's already mine. That doesn't make any sense. I want my belt back. I'm the Intercontinental Champ. Give me my belt." Nakamura asks AJ if AJ's scared. AJ laughs, says he would never be scared of Nakamura. Like he said several weeks ago when they first all came to Raw after the draft, Nakamura is a loser. He's a shell of himself. He's a nobody. And to prove that, he's already beaten him plenty of times in WWE. He beat him at Mania. He's beat him on different pay-per-views, at house shows, at everything and in between. He was like, "I've beaten you over and over. Why would I be scared of you? I've beaten you in WWE." Everybody knows that. Nakamura tells him, like he said last week, that's not who he is anymore. Over the last several weeks, ever since AJ told him that he was a shell of his former self, and that he was a nobody, and that he was a loser, ever since that, Shinsuke went on a bit of a journey to try and find himself again, and he found himself over the last several weeks, and what he found was the Shinsuke Nakamura that he was before WWE. And that Shinsuke Nakamura is a Shinsuke Nakamura that AJ Styles has never beaten and can't beat. This makes AJ very mad. He tells Shinsuke, "I don't care what you found. This isn't Japan. I'm better than you. You don't matter here. Give me my belt." Just keeps yelling at him. Give him his belt. Nakamura is cool, calm, and collecting, keeps telling him, "You can get your belt back if you beat me." AJ says, "Well, even if I wanted to fight you tonight, I didn't bring my ring gear. I'm not on the card tonight. The champ shouldn't have to be on the card. I'm not fighting tonight." Nakamura says, "That's not a problem. You can just add me to the Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam." AJ starts laughing and says that match is already crowded. It's got 2 other people already in it. It doesn't need a 4th. Nakamura says, "Yeah, but it's crowded with losers, like you said. You said Finn Balor was a loser and was a nobody. You said Mustafa Ali was a nobody and hadn't accomplished anything. You say I'm a loser, so what's adding one more guy? You know, you have that match is filled with guys you have no problem beating." You said they're all easily beaten. AJ yells back at Nakamura and says, "Don't tell me what I said. I know what I say. I know my words." And then AJ says, "You know what? Fine. I'm going to clean this up like the stupid Raw general manager told me. 1 loser, 2 losers, 3 losers. It doesn't matter. You're on." Nakamura raises his eyebrow, kind of like The Rock a little bit, and smiles. AJ's music hits with Nakamura smiling, and the broadcast team kind of look at each other and like, what does this mean now for the Intercontinental title? What does this mean for SummerSlam? You know, what's going to happen based off of what we just saw? We go to commercial. In the style of SmackDown, I should say. Commercial!
Yeah.
Come back from commercial. First match of the night. We've got Asuka versus Natalya. Haven't seen Asuka on the show wrestling since she was taken out by Io Shirai in episode 1. Asuka destroys the hell out of Natalya. She hits her with the buzzsaw kick a la Yoshihiro Tajiri. Nice. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look that up. Tajiri's buzzsaw kick was fan-friggin-tastic.
Agreed.
Take a peek at that. Yep, it's awesome. She hits Natty with the buzzsaw kick, knocks her the fuck out, and then just to put a little, icing on the cake, she locks in the Asuka lock on an unconscious Natty until the ref stops the match. Asuka wins. Charlie comes down to the ring to interview Asuka, asks her about her thoughts for Sunday against Io, but Asuka walks right by her without even saying a word. She doesn't acknowledge Charlie. She doesn't acknowledge the interview. She doesn't acknowledge anything. She takes her belt and she walks backstage. Ooh, indeed. Commercial. Back from commercial. The announce team. Back from commercial. The announce team tells us that. Yeah, I was going to do that. Tells us it's been confirmed. It has been confirmed for SummerSlam that we now have a fatal 4-way elimination match for the Intercontinental title. It will be AJ Styles versus Finn Balor versus Mustafa Ali versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, this is not a one-fall match. It is an elimination match, which means we will see multiple pinfalls.
Yes, kiss.
Yep. We will see multiple pinfalls. We will see eliminations. Fatal 4-way. That has just been edited to the card. Our announce team talks about it. What does this mean? I wonder how Finn Balor feels. I wonder how Mustafa Ali feels. What a banger. Oh, man. Big deal. We're talking about that. And then our second match, our competitors make their way for that match, and it's Montez Ford with Dawkins accompanying him to the ring versus Andrade Cien Almas, accompanied to the ring by Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. Announce team recaps again what's been going on over the last several weeks. Again, Street Profits lost the tag team titles to Imperium on the second episode of Raw after the draft. And then Garza and Almas beat Street Profits, but Street Profits wanted their tag team title rematch against Imperium. Garza and Almas said, you guys don't really deserve... Well, it's Zelina Vega speaking for Almas, and Garza said, you guys don't really deserve that. You know, we beat you guys. So they fought last week for the right to be the number one contender for the tag team titles, but they got into a bit of a fight with each other. Match wasn't finished. Imperium ended up challenging both teams because they're scared of no one, and they wanted to get their hands on Garza and Almas after the attack that they suffered at their hands a couple of weeks ago. And that's, again, we get a bit of that recap verbally of what led to the match being made at SummerSlam for the triple threat tag team title ladder match. Imperium is on commentary for this match, but in typical Imperium fashion, they don't say anything on TV. They don't put their headsets on, and mainly Barthel and Eichner are just talking tactics with each other, scouting their opponents during the whole match, not really acknowledging, that they're on commentary. Because, again, they're not here for the entertainment of the people. They're here for the sport of professional wrestling, so they don't give a shit. And they're basically just there scouting their opponents.
Yes.
The match ends when we see Montez Ford hit a splash from the top rope, his patented high vertical splash onto Andrade. Garza tries to rush into the ring to break up the pin, but he gets tackled by Dawkins. Doesn't get to break up the 3 count. Ford gets the win. And then, of course, as we've seen, these two teams hate each other. They start brawling. They fight, going back and forth. Imperium gets up, holding their tag team titles, and they walk around the ring, surveying all the fighting that's going on, just kind of nodding as if they expected this. And they walk to the back as the two teams in the ring brawl with each other as we go to commercial. We come back from commercial. Third match. Finn Balor versus Humberto Carrillo. Finn wins with the Bloody Sunday. Some may refer to it as the 1916. On this show, we call it Bloody Sunday because that's what it is. Finn wins with the Bloody Sunday. After the match, talks with Charlie. He talks about what he did last week and when he pulled the referee out of the ring, and that it was nothing against Mustafa Ali. He likes Ali, but he'd do it again. He earned his Intercontinental title shot. He earned a one-on-one match with AJ Styles. He beat Mustafa Ali fair and square for the right to face AJ, so he doesn't want more people in the match. He doesn't want a triple threat or a fatal 4-way, because anytime more people are added to that match, the odds of him winning are lessened. And now there's 3 other people in this match. There's 4 people total. His odds have been lessened. He has a 0.25% chance to win. Before, he had a 50% chance. So, of course, he would pull the ref out of the ring every single time, 100 out of 100 times, because at the end of the day, he wants the Intercontinental title, and he would do what it takes in order to protect his opportunity there. He gets asked about Shinsuke Nakamura. He says, it's nothing he hasn't seen before. He knows the Shinsuke Nakamura from Japan. He knows what he's capable of. He knows what he can do. And we'll see who Shinsuke Nakamura really is come Sunday.
Oof.
Yeah. We go to commercial. And then we go back from commercial. We're back. We're having a sit-down interview with Paul Heyman backstage. Paul Heyman, as we all know now, is the representation for Io Shirai. He's sitting down, and he talks about what happened last week. Again, Io Shirai's shoulder was dislocated by Becky Lynch when Becky put her in the disarmor. But Io didn't tap. Instead, Io used the turnbuckle to put her shoulder back into place and then proceeded to charge Becky Lynch and hit one of Kairi's insane elbows from the top rope with her good arm, plunged it right into Becky's heart in order to get the 1-2-3 and beat Becky Lynch.
Oh, it was wonderful.
It was beautiful. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Heyman says, Io Shirai showed the world who she was last week. She is a cold, calculated warrior, and she is the best pound-for-pound women's wrestler on the planet. And she's not here tonight, but she's not home taking time off. She's not nursing her shoulder injury. Instead, she's at home training with Brock Lesnar, his other client. He says, do you know what it takes to keep up with Brock Lesnar? Do you know what it takes to be accepted by Brock Lesnar? He says, Brock Lesnar is a beast, but Io Shirai is a monster. And a monster can keep up with a beast. And there is nobody on Raw who can stop Io Shirai from taking what she wants. As Heyman says that, he looks off camera and he smiles. Camera pans out a bit, and we see Asuka coming up. Heyman smiles, and he goes to speak to Asuka, but before he can get a word out, he gets misted right in his face.
Ooh.
Heyman screams. He's got mist all in his eyes. It burns. It's acidic. It hurts. We don't know how Asuka can hold it in her mouth and not have her mouth be affected, but it hurts people's eyes, but we're not going to ask that question here. So Heyman's in pain. He's screaming on the ground. Asuka looks into the camera, gets very close to the camera, with the green, misty liquid dripping from her mouth. And she stares into the camera. And just like Io Shirai said several weeks ago after she attacked Asuka and attacked Kairi, Asuka stares into the camera, and just like Io said, she says, there can only be one.
Ooh.
And then she looks away from the camera and walks away. And we go to commercial.
My God.
Oof. Little bit of a Highlander situation. There can only be one. Come back from break. Fourth match. Mustafa Ali. Versus, I could do that the whole time, and it would take like an hour. Versus
I was like, stop.
Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander. Mustafa Ali struggles in this match. He doesn't look sharp. He's missing moves. He looks slow. He looks sluggish. He's getting beat to the point and beat to the jump by Cedric Alexander, and he's in danger of losing this match, but he gets the win with a roll-up. So Mustafa Ali beats Cedric Alexander, but he does not look convincing in his performance in the ring, and he's visibly upset about it. Starts to walk backstage, and as he gets through the curtain and gets to Gorilla, he gets interviewed and gets asked, hey, you're obviously upset with what transpired tonight, what's going through your head right now, and he's completely honest. He says straight up, I did not perform well tonight. Am I happy to get the win? Yeah, but it's not a good performance going into a championship match on Sunday. AJ Styles is in this match. Shinsuke Nakamura is now in this match. Finn Balor was in this match. I can't perform like I did tonight and win that match. It's not good enough. And I want respect. I want the acclaim. I want the, again, the attention that I deserve, and I want the Intercontinental title, and I can't have any of that if I perform Sunday the way that I did tonight. And he says Sunday at SummerSlam is everything to him. And as he says that, he gets bagged in the back of the head with an elbow right to his head, and it's Finn Balor. Finn is punching and kicking the hell out of Mustafa Ali, picks him up, throws him into a wall, throws him into tables, throws him into a chair, hits him with a chair, just beats the hell out of him, and then stops, looks at Charlie, who was doing the interview, and again, he spoke about odds earlier in the show. He looks at Charlie and he shrugs his shoulders and he says, I'm just trying to even the odds again for Sunday. Then he walks away. Ali's in pain. The medics are checking on him. Commercial break. We come back from commercial break, It is our fifth match. It is our main event. It is Cesaro versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good match. And when I say pretty good, I mean a fantastic match. Because again, this show is about the professional art, about the sport of professional wrestling. Good match. Mysterio gives Cesaro all he can handle. Hits the West Coast pop. He hits a couple poison ranas. He hits a couple hurricane ranas. Really does a lot of things in this match to try and get the win. But Cesaro, he's running hot. He is super focused, super driven. Cesaro ends up getting the win, and he gets the win in a cool spot, if I do say so myself. Mysterio goes for the 619, and as he swings his legs into Cesaro's face, Cesaro catches Mysterio's legs, drags him through the middle rope, puts him into the Cesaro swing, which transitions into the sharpshooter, and Mysterio taps out. Cesaro grabs the mic, and much like he did last week, is yelling, "Where is Walter? Where is the champ? Where is the so-called and quote-unquote honor and sport of professional wrestling?" Imperium made this statement, and I haven't seen Walter since I challenged him. You know, I attacked him, and he had to go back home for treatment. He's soft. He can't handle me. Cesaro, I am honor. I am the sport of professional wrestling. And at SummerSlam, I'm going to take the Universal title because Walter on 2 good knees couldn't beat me. And Walter with only 1 good knee has no chance. I'm stronger than him. I'm more athletic than him. I'm a better wrestler than him. On Sunday, I take what is mine, and what is mine is the Universal title. He drops the mic. And he goes to, as he goes to exit the ring, Imperium's music hits. And it's Walter, just by himself. Cesaro goes back into the center of the ring, prepares himself for a fight as if Walter is going to charge the ring, but Walter doesn't. He just stands atop the entrance ramp. And Walter has been a man of action, but also of a lot of words since he has come to Raw, since Imperium has come to Raw. He's been very eloquent as he is. He's spoken a lot about what his goal is, what his vision is, what he's going to do, what's going to happen. Walter grabs a mic, and he stares at Cesaro with that focused, unflinchingly focused stare. And all he tells Cesaro is, as he points to him, he tells him, on Sunday, you die.
Oh, shit.
And then he drops the mic, and he leaves. As the credits come up, and Cesaro stands in the ring with a focused but confident and smug grin on his face. And that's the last Raw before SummerSlam, folks.
Nice. Nice. Bravo.
Thank you. I was torn.
I like how everything has come full circle, and you've done it really well.
I appreciate that. Again, this has been extremely fun. I'm sad to see it go, but it's been hard as fuck. And that full circle thing means a lot to me because I was definitely like, okay, everything has to come full circle. I want it to make sense. I want it to be believable and just fit in the aspect of kayfabe and everything like that. And then just from this show, I had some other things planned, but I thought it wasn't even this. I don't know if it's like you mentioned yourself, right? You were like, you wanted your go home show to, overcome any like last minute hurdles. You wanted it to be like a pop and have, and I thought of that a bit too. I was like, damn, do I have enough like pageantry or like things to point to? And I didn't want to add too much or make it too like pomp and circumstance and pageantry, especially with everything that had happened. Again, I wanted to put a bow on it, but I tried to just, instead of just putting a bow on everything, I tried to make the bow a little shinier and a little better and then push the envelope in some ways. And so that's what I aimed for on this show.
I think the thing I liked about it as well, I mean, I guess it's just exactly as you said then. You haven't felt the need to overbook just because we've been limited by, only having 5 shows to book going into SummerSlam. I mean, that's a concern that we had from the get-go, yes, that we had such a limited time to get these stories told. And you'll see on SmackDown on Friday how things are so different between the two of us. I've literally gone, oh my God, it's the last show. Everything needs to be booked. Book it.
Nice.
But you'll see. Obviously, you'll see all that on Friday. But no, that was good. I love the fact that your last line, obviously SummerSlam aside, but SummerSlam is just really focusing on matches rather than anything else. Not really,
right.
Delving depths of storyline because we know the storyline at that point. I like the fact that your closing line in this iteration of our GM mode, because potentially there could be another one. There could be a series.
Yes,
2.
there could. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. I like the fact that it closed with "You die." It's beautiful. Because that's how I felt sometimes when I was writing my shows.
It's very apropos. As soon as I said it, I loved how you were like, oh shit.
I was like, oh, because we say this every week, but I kind of visualize that I'm kind of watching this unfold on TV. So I kind of, I saw Volta standing there going, "You die."
Yep,
that's
beautiful. That's exactly like what it is, and especially with I wanted to juxtapose it with Walter is he said a lot of things on Raw, but instead of coming down and making another speech or doing anything or even taking action, he's just short, straight to the point. On Sunday, you die, and then drops the mic and leaves. And that's also I'm so glad that you mentioned it because that's also I was like, that is the closing line and the closing image of my Raw booking is Walter, this awesome, amazing wrestler, intimidating force, great leader, part of a great group, a great stable. He's my champ, and it's him telling his opponent, not doing anything over the top or making a big speech. It's just him looking at his opponent, pointing at him, and telling him, on Sunday, you die, and that's it. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful. What a send-off. Yeah. What a beautiful send-off.
I appreciate it. I'm hoping I've gone back and forth on what's going to happen in the SummerSlam matches. I am now undecided on who's going to win some of those matches, but we'll see what happens as we get closer to the date.
It's exciting times, and of course we're going to treat it like a very special event. If you've listened or watched our worst pay-per-view ever series, it's going to pretty much follow that formula. We won't be doing a pre-show. We'll be doing a post-show kind of deal where we obviously discuss what happened in the matches and what have you. But I'm looking forward to seeing the conclusion of your Raw journey as Raw General Manager.
I appreciate you for that.
And then you're going to hand over to a laptop who will take the reins until we're ready to go Series 2.
Yeah, he'll take the reins and Rollins and Murphy and the whole rest of the roster. Whoa, puns. Yeah,
but of course, to get to SummerSlam, we need to get to SmackDown.
Oh, we do.
We do. My go-home show this Friday. Oh, it's interesting. I know for a fact that you will like it, or at least some of it.
I've been waiting for certain things to happen for a long time, and they better fucking happen. I'm starting to get every week after your SmackDown, I've been on social media and I've been on Reddit talking about just what the hell, where is, this certain thing that I want, it's not happening. I'm upset. I've definitely been pretty angry on the old social media. So I just hope to finally be rewarded as a fan, because again, as a fan, it's all about me.
Naturally.
Naturally.
Well, it is on the Friday show, technically.
This is true.
As I am a fan of Monday Raw today, even though I am also your rival, and I'm taking notes and stealing your ideas. As was apparent last week with the breakages of women's arms.
Oh man, great mind.
That's still crazy to me.
That's still, I was gonna say, the odds of, just both of us having women's matches as the main event for our show, both of them involving the stipulation where the winner is the number one contender for the women's title on our show. And then both of them involving, the breaking of a limb. Well, yours a breaking, mine a dislocation. But the message, the theme is still there. And then once that happened, obviously we each went in our own different directions. But just the fact that we both went in that direction is still, I thought about that at least a couple times a day, just randomly, going to work or just sitting there watching wrestling. I was like, what are the odds? But I mean, that's why we do this thing together, and
Yes.
that's why we're meant to be. The fates have
Exactly.
aligned, but that is seriously like ridiculous. Like the odds of that happening are so small. That's
I love that it happened.
Yeah, it was awesome.
As soon as you said it on your show, I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. How?
And as soon as you were like, great minds, I'll just tell you for my show, like, great minds. And then when it happened and you were like, Sonya breaks her arm, I was like, no way! Oh my God!
Fucking crazy, man. It's crazy.
Oh, Raven's back.
It's crazy. Well, it's time to take us home, and I'm going to flip the switch here, and I'm going to plug my stuff first because it's not as in depth as it usually is. As I alluded to at the start of the show, life is kind of changing a little bit for me over the next couple of weeks. So I'll be taking a step back from live streaming, so I don't have to plug that. I'm taking a step back from Dits versus Josh, so I don't have to plug that. We're having a break on this show, don't have to plug that. However, the one and only thing I will plug this week is head to Dits on YouTube, subscribe to that channel, and enjoy the debut of Dits on Gaming, which dropped on Saturday. Now, you can check it out in video form. If you're going to check it out in any way, I'd say video form is the way to go because you do get like a backing kind of you get trailers. I'm talking about the Xbox Series X and the PS5 reveal and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of get footage from the Xbox Game Showcase, Halo gameplay, the PS5 reveal, the Spider-Man trailers, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of feeds into what I'm saying. It's a good it's a good accompaniment of what I'm talking about. But if you are on the go, you can listen to it in audio form only on your favorite podcasting applications.
Oh.
And Dits on Gaming isn't going on a break because it really doesn't take me that long to throw that together, so I can still muster that. And because it's nice and fresh, I'm very passionate about it. Not that I'm not passionate about the Dow Pod, but
yeah, fuck us. I mean, it's whatever.
Fuck you. But Anthony, you actually get to take us home properly here.
Oh boy,
plugs.
There's a lot of pressure. I'm not prepared for this. I am Anthony, weekly co-host here on the Dow Pod, Raw general manager for this GM mode series, and I'm also the host of my own solo podcast titled Wagons and Warpaths. And you might sit there and be like, Wagons and Warpaths, what does that mean? And I'm glad you asked that question because it's in reference to Buffalo sports, because the podcast that I do solo is a Buffalo sports talk podcast. It's focusing on the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres, hence the Wagons and Warpaths respectively. And if you still don't know why it's titled that, feel free to look it up or message me or follow me on Twitter about it. Accordingly, my Twitter handle is wagons_warpaths. Feel free to follow me, interact with me on Twitter. I love all that kind of stuff. The Wagons and Warpaths podcast can be found on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher. If you like that pod, please rate and review and subscribe. Tell all your family and friends and loved ones about it. Shout it from the rooftops. Send them candy grams, holograms about it, graham crackers, Alexander Graham Bell, anything that has a gram. Just talk to them about it. And as of last week, my Buffalo Sports Talk podcast is an official partner of the Daily Buffalo and a Buffalo Fanatics contributor. Awesome. So 2 awesome things in the Buffalo sports, social media, podcasting, content creating world. I am extremely excited to have that partnership, and extremely excited about my solo pod, and extremely excited to be with you guys here every week on the Dow Pod and be the first mate to Captain Dits. And that's me.
Bravo. I'm still very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I'm so proud of you.
Proud for myself.
My first mate's.
My little first mate.
It's good.
You know,
it's the best. Nah, it is awesome. It is awesome. Go and check out all of Anthony's stuff. Go check out my stuff. The very little thing that I plugged, which is literally just Dits on Gaming. Go check it out and subscribe to the channel. But until Friday, where you'll be with us for the last Friday, in fact, of a Dow Pod episode dropping on that day for quite some time. It's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me, I'm assuming? Is this where you pass it to me?
Yeah, we're supposed to be in.
Just kidding. Normally, I just do kind of a sarcastic bye.
You do.
But a heartfelt one on this one. Again, we will be taking a very, very brief hiatus, but to everyone who has been listening to all the episodes, but then especially in regards to this series, we put a bunch of work and effort into it. Again, not that we don't for the regular episodes and everything else that we do on the Dow Pod, but especially with this series. And we appreciate all the listens, downloads, votes, the interaction that we have. The Dow Pod Observer, dude, for you, like, I know you're listening, for you to take on that task and volunteer to listen and review and like put your own effort and energy and thoughts into our series. And there's been so many others that have been supportive and helpful like that, and I'm extremely grateful and thankful for everyone's support and acknowledgement and help. And to everybody listening, thank you very much so, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for all the support and love and accolades. And yeah, that's what I got. Bye, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.